Hello all. Today I am reviewing retro laptops yet again, and I'm going over my collection of Toshiba 1997-1998 model Pentium generation laptops. Now, this consists of, they're all roughly the same generation. This is the Libretto 60. This one is particular model is an import from Japan, never released in North America. In North America, they released the 50 and 70s, which had different processor generations. This was released in North America, and this is the Portage. The Portage 660 CDT has a Pentium 150 CPU with EDO memory. This particular model had the same select bay options as the bigger devices, but the actual cradle is a different size, and I didn't have an extra, so I had to make do with this older one. This specimen is not in the greatest of shape, but it functionally is 100%. Finally, we have the 460 CDT Satellite Pro, and this is their mid-upper range model. And the thing with this one is that it also has the select bay, PCMI ports, and it has the distinction of having bigger screen, Pentium 166 MMX CPU processor, same EDO memory, and more interestingly enough for me is that it has a USB port which allows further functionality. Now, if you can look at their sizing, once again I'll show you, and it's really quite cool how the 13.3 inch screen, Satellite Pro, Pentium 1666, Pentium 150 on the Portage. You can see how much smaller it is. And then, honestly, this is a novelty size Libretto 60. I'm not sure how useful it is, but I remember lusting after these. And at that time, you would have to import these models from Japan. A lot of these small models were never released in North America. For today's review, other than comparison, I want to go over specifically the Libretto 60 model. Now, ironically, this model came with the 815 megabyte slim profile hard drive. They're all IDEs. And I took that out and I put in a compact flash IDE adapter with a 4 gigabyte compact flash card. Now you have to be careful. Some of these older Pentium and even 486 models don't support the full gamut of IDE drive type sizes, so you have to choose wisely. And I actually have to import an industrial compact flash card from eBay, although other models of compact flash should work. Now this is the dock connector, and you can see in travel this is like a 1.5–2 pound device with pointing device. It's active TFT display. It's just amazing. Now, to be perfectly honest, in this day and age, you're probably going to use it with its dock. Without its dock, you don't even get the mouse ports. You don't get the serial port, VGA, or parallel ports, and it becomes pretty darn hard to use without those, I'm afraid to say. So, how do you put them on? You line it up, make sure you're not doing any harm to it, push in, and that's locked in already. Screw in the hand tightenable latches, and you are ready to go. What else can I say about this particular device? It has a PCMI CIA slot, and this is one of the few ways that you're going to be able to get your data off this system, because it does not have a USB port. This 15-volt power jack is standard to all these series, so all the 440, the Toshibas, right up to around the 490s use the same jack. Good with expansion. You also have, of course, the audio out and the infrared port, which is essentially not useful anymore. This is the drive bay, And again, it uses a slim profile drive, so not all IDE drives of that generation will be supported. On the top, you have some amazing clean plastics, and let me just adjust that a bit. You have two built-in mouse buttons, and on the inside they had a thumb pointer stick. Now, even after all these years, I don't know how it happened, but this particular model, the battery still works. Not for long, but it should be enough for a demonstration. Now, Pentiums of this era, of this design, did not require cooling that much. Now, I took out the CMOS battery because all Toshibas of this generation are failing. Basically, you'll see that there. CMOS batteries start leaking. You need to get them out before they damage the system. And that's not a big deal when you're just using it occasionally, as I am. I'm going to change the lighting contrast so you can see this a bit better. We're going to do F1, go into System BIOS, and you can see this has a 16 megabyte of RAM. It also has Pentium 120 CPU, active TFT screen, and it's VGA compatible. That's important. Some of the Sony Vios Ultrabooks of this size only had half VGA. This is actually a full VGA screen, so if you're playing DOS games, it's really cool on it. And there we go. We're booting into the system. For occasional use, I really think you should get that CMOS battery out and just not worry about it. I mean, you're not generating documents, you're not going to be surfing the net over modem on most of these things. And I'm going to be setting up a separate video on how to get data in and out of these old systems. But for now, I'm just going to, I always choose Win95 to go to DOS prompt. Let's take a look at some of the things I have installed. And yes, how did I install stuff on this? Well, I literally before the compact flash was installed, put it in to my desktop and copy stuff over. Let's see about Alone in the Dark. There was an interesting thing about this. Alone crack. And ironically, this is ad-lib Sound Blaster audio, so this is improved audio of the generation. It's really impressive. I mean, if you want to be a cool kid on the block and bring this out to you could probably rebuild the battery and then bring it out to actually do some light productivity. And the only thing is that the keyboard is a Japanese keyboard. It still has QWERTY keys, but they're so small and chiclet size that I can see that this was redesigned for two-finger typists. As a touch typist myself, I can't see this being a high productivity machine. Let's see if I can get, there you go. You'll notice the reason why you're having trouble viewing some of the angles, this is an active matrix screen, but in this generation, viewing angles are tough. I don't remember how to play this game anymore. Let's see if we can quit. Oh, good, I quit. And then you can see it was amazingly, like, the sound quality was pretty darn good, considering that this is a old system. And it only has one mono speaker there. Let's take a look at what else do I have here. Not much. Dune 2 Classic. Oops, I guess I run a different command to run it. Play now. Oh geez, this is a DOS-BOS version that probably won't run in I can try. Problem with DOS-BOX versions is that the sound may not be properly configured. But one can only try. Ooh! I am wrong. The beauty of ad-lib music. And you can see we're still running on battery, so the battery does run for a while on this. I would guess maybe half an hour or so. You can rebuild its lithium-ion cell packs that still exist. And actually, if I were to keep it, I would probably tape up the and block off the audio so it's not quite as loud. Ironically, I'm not sure if there is a way to adjust volume control on this. On the other models, there's an actual physical switch for volume adjustment, but in this, I don't think they had a chance to implement that. And your guess is as good as mine what control keys there are to adjust volumes at this point. Just show out that intro for you. Iconic. And this is on a VGA screen that's portable, and you would be the envy of the block and executives, even though functionally, I mean, a bigger laptop would just make more sense. A bit of contrast. Okay. Now I don't recall. There you go. You can exit the game, so we should be able to get into Windows. Now I do have a serial mouse. And you can see adding the compact flash card and solid state makes so much sense in these older systems. They're essentially a little bit underpowered for Windows. Their RAM structure is a little bit tough. It uses proprietary RAM, so it's not like you're going to be able to get just any old EDO memory. Now, I think I have to restart Windows to get this to register the mouse, which is a challenge. And in fact, serial mice, if I remember correctly, needed to run the serial mouse driver or something like that. Oh, there you go. I thought it was out of juice, but then it just turned off into the reboot mode for Windows. With that compact flash, getting pretty quick stuff. Let me see if I can figure out. And look at this. You're really going to be doing 2-finger typing. I don't have big hands, but it's challenging. Having said that, I presume that a lot of people were 2-finger typing at the time. There you go. That looks good. Let's see if this works on Windows now. So what can you do with these? I mean, other than having that machine that you were lusting after all those years ago, and oh, this is the thumb pointer switch. I think my mouse driver needs to be reinstalled, but you can see that the mouse works. You would go here, double click. I had the 4 GB compact flash formatted in a 2 GB and 4 GB directory. I don't think I ever got around to installing any Windows games on this. Oh wow, let's see what the battery gauge says. 82%. So after all this time that we've been using this, it looks like my timer says about 12 minutes on the recording. You have about 82% left. That's the great thing about lithium ion packs. They don't leak, and they last for quite some time, and you can get them rebuilt. So yeah, pretty darn good. Let me see. Oops, let's not exit just yet. See if I installed any productivity software. Well, doesn't look like it there. And I really prefer mouse on this. I mean, I'm already having trouble with two-finger typing, so. And really, this is I'm sure it's a novelty or executive toy. I mean, maybe some programmers could have used it at the time. But the one thing that you could do with this is hook up that external monitor, and you know, it came with a docking station way back then, and get some improved productivity. Too bad at this point it doesn't have a USB, because I think a more useful option would also be a keyboard if you're going to be really using it for anything. The PCMCIA, there is a bootable floppy drive that you can get for it that I don't have. But this is not really that critical right now. I mean, honestly, 80% at this point, so pretty good battery life for a 20-30-year-old laptop. And I know that previous owner never used this much. The plastics are pristine. I mean, it's in such good shape. Oops, and that's for standby, which I recommend against using at this age. And I don't know if there's a way to turn off standby and BIOS. There might be. Let's give that one last look at the BIOS. I have to say, this is a hard device not to collect. Oops, you press escape when it's booting. Oops, it's too late now. Control Alt Delete. There you go. You press escape as it's booting, and it should give you the F1 key to enter BIOS. Oh, should and didn't. Looks like a registry. I'll try one more time and then call it quits. There you go. Oh well. Okay, so this is the Toshiba Libretto 60 Pentium 120 166 16 megabyte RAM, ultra portable. I think they call it palm top at the time. Thank you for watching, and I hope this is a nice little introduction to a unusual device.